Slower, weaker, mortal.
Hmm.
Those are three words you never ever thought you'd hear next to the name Serena Williams.
Not in a million years.
But if you rewind just a few years, to that period right after she had her daughter, that was the narrative. It wasn't just a whisper.
Oh, no, it was a roar. It was everywhere. And the sports media machine, I mean, it can be so unforgiving.
Predatory, almost.
It really can be. The story they were pushing wasn't just, oh, she's a new mom, she's tired. It was motherhood broke her. The Serena era is over.
Exactly. You'd see these brutal headlines every single time she dropped a set. Things like, she's past her prime or she's lost that edge.
Yeah.
And the one that really got me, the one I think was the cruelest, was she should have retired while she was ahead.
Ugh, that's so condescending.
It felt like the whole world was just watching and waiting for her to fail. And to be fair, if you were only looking at the scoreboard, the critics kind of had a point.
They did. You have to be objective about the data here. The numbers were, well, they were startling for her.
Startling. So she makes it to 4 Grand Slam finals in 2 years after coming back.
4, which is incredible in itself.
But she lost all of them.
All 4. For the woman who basically defined winning for 20 years, that looked like a complete and total collapse.
It looked like a tragedy, like watching a titan who just didn't know when to hang it up. But, and this is why we're doing this deep dive, the source material we're looking at says that while we were all busy writing her obituary as an athlete, we were watching the wrong game.
We were completely missing the point. The whole argument is that she didn't lose her edge.
She reallocated it.
She reallocated it.
I love that phrase, reallocation. It sounds like something you'd do with your 401k, not your career.
Because it is portfolio management. That's the key. While everyone was analyzing her footwork, she was making this massive, massive pivot from being an athlete to being an owner.
And the thesis here is just fascinating. Greatness expires, but ownership compounds.
That's it. That's the whole story.
So, okay, our mission today is to unpack that shift. We're going to dig into how Serena Williams traded this identity of GOAT, of the greatest tennis player ever, for something. Well, something way more powerful, generational wealth, and I guess total freedom.
But to get the after, you have to understand the before.
Right. And specifically that moment in the hospital where it all almost ended, because the source is really clear on this. This wasn't just some change of heart.
No. This was a response to trauma. We have to go back to September 1st, 2017.
The day Olympia was born.
Yes. And the context here is so important. I think a lot of us just remember, oh, she had a baby. But no. This was a full-blown medical emergency.
It started with an emergency C-section.
Right, which is major abdominal surgery.
Yeah.
But then it got so much worse. A pulmonary embolism.
Blood clots in her lungs.
In her lungs. And she has a history of this, so she knew what was happening to her own body. She's gasping for air, telling the doctors what she needs. She literally asked for a CT scan and blood thinners.
And they didn't believe her at first.
They didn't believe her. Can you imagine? She had to fight for her own life while her body was shutting down.
That is terrifying. To be one of the greatest athletes alive, someone who knows their body on a cellular level, and to be ignored while you think you're dying.
It changes everything. I mean, she barely made it out of there. She was bedridden for 6 weeks, and yet, look at the timeline.
Just 15 months later, she is back on a court.
Competing at the highest possible level.
Which is, it's just insane. That physical recovery alone is a miracle. But I think because she came back so quickly, everyone just thought, okay, she's back, business as usual, go get number 24.
And that's the big misunderstanding. Because nobody goes through a near-death experience and comes back the same person. This isn't just a sports comeback story.
It's about something else.
It's a story about the psychological trap of being a high performer and realizing there's a world beyond the baseline.
Okay, let's unpack that word trap. The source material calls it the identity prison, which I have to say sounds absolutely terrifying. What does that actually mean?
It is terrifying, but it's also, it's really seductive. Let's just paint the picture of Serena in 2016. So this is right before the pregnancy.
She's 35. She has 22 Grand Slams. She is, without question, the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
Undisputed.
Yeah.
And she's chasing Steffi Graf's record of 24 titles. That's the only thing that matters.
The magic number.
Right. And what nobody tells you when you're at that level is that being the greatest becomes an addiction. It stops being about the trophies. It's not even really about the prize money. It's about the identity itself. It's something called identity foreclosure.
Identity foreclosure. I've never heard that.
It's a psych term. It's when you commit to a single identity so early and so intensely that you never really develop the other parts of yourself. So being Serena Williams isn't just a name, it's a brand. It means you're unbeatable, untouchable.
And that identity, that's
Yeah.
currency, right? It opens every door, it gets you the big endorsement deals, it builds your whole world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But to maintain that identity, you have to protect it constantly. You become a guard dog for your own reputation.
You have to train harder, you have to play hurt, you sacrifice everything to stay on top.
Because if you don't, the second you're not the greatest anymore, who are you?
Oof.
That's the question that haunts high performers. And we're not just talking about athletes here.
No, this is the founder who is the brand and can't delegate. Or the CEO who works 80-hour weeks because their title is their entire self-worth.
Exactly. Or even the influencer who can't take a day off because they're terrified. The algorithm will forget them. Your success becomes your prison.
You're a prisoner of your own creation.
You really are. And Serena lived in that prison for 2 decades. 20 years, where every single choice she made, what she ate, when she went to sleep, how many ice baths she took, it was all optimized for one metric.
Winning tennis matches.
That's it. And then boom, the pregnancy, the C-section, the clots. And she's lying in that hospital bed, and she looks over at her newborn daughter, and the entire hierarchy of her life just shatters into a million pieces.
This is the big reveal, right? The source says that when you almost die, you get clarity. And in that moment, fighting for her life, Serena was no longer the most important person in the room.
For the first time in her adult life, yeah.
It was Olympia.
It was this tiny baby who did not care about Grand Slams.
Didn't care about records.
Didn't care if her mom was an icon or a cashier. She just needed her mom. And that shift, it's so profound. Before Olympia, tennis was everything. After Olympia, winning became optional.
Whoa, hold on. Optional. That feels like a really strong word for someone as competitive as Serena Williams.
I know.
Does optional mean she didn't care? Because I watched those matches. She was breaking rackets. She was screaming. The passion was clearly still there.
Oh, she definitely cared. No question.
Yeah.
But that's the nuance here, and it's so important. It doesn't mean winning was unimportant. It means it wasn't existential anymore.
Ah, okay.
She didn't need to win to justify her existence on the planet. She had a daughter. Her new #1 priority was, this is a quote, building a life her daughter wouldn't have to escape from.
Wow. Building a life her daughter wouldn't have to escape from. That implies that maybe she felt like she had to escape her own life at times.
Release the pressure of it, yeah.
So, okay, if winning is now optional, and she has this whole new perspective, why come back at all? She didn't need the money. She didn't need more fame. Why put yourself through that grinder again?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the sources are pretty clear. She wasn't chasing trophy number 24 for the glory.
She was testing a hypothesis.
Hypothesis, like a scientist.
What was the hypothesis?
Can I do this? Can I compete at the highest level of sport while also being a mother? Can I rewrite the unwritten rule that says women have to choose? She was trying to prove to herself and to the world that pregnancy doesn't end your career. It just clarifies what you're really playing for.
So it was bigger than tennis. It was about representation, breaking another barrier.
It was. But the day-to-day reality of that comeback was it was brutal. We have to talk about the logistics. Before Olympia, her life was obsessive recovery.
Ice baths, sleep schedules, 6 hours of practice, all of it.
After Olympia, the source describes her breastfeeding between matches.
I can't even visualize that. The physical toll of breastfeeding alone is immense. It drains your calories, it messes with your hormones, and you're going to do that and then go try to win Wimbledon.
Yes. And FaceTiming her daughter from the locker room 5 minutes before walking on court, trying to arrange childcare on the road, that obsessive recovery was gone. It had to be. She was working what they call the second shift.
The unpaid labor of being a parent.
On top of having the most demanding first shift you could possibly imagine.
And this is where we come back to those headlines. The media sees this divided attention, and they say, see, she's distracted, she's lost it, you can't have it all. They frame it as a failure.
The classic tired narrative.
Yeah.
The distracted mother. But this is where the source material just flips the entire script. The media said she lost her focus.
But the reality was, she didn't lose it.
She split it.
She diversified it, like a portfolio.
Exactly. While the entire world was obsessing over the speed of her serve, she was quietly, methodically building an empire. This is the part of the story that just blows my mind.
In those 2 years where she was supposedly failing to win another Grand Slam,
She was scaling Serena Ventures.
taking it from just a side project into a full-blown major investment fund.
A $250 million fund. She was negotiating equity deals with Nike instead of just endorsement deals. She was launching her clothing line, joining corporate boards, writing huge checks to founders.
Okay, we have to talk numbers, because I think most people hear Serena's business and they think, well, the tennis money has to be the big prize, right? She's the highest earning female athlete ever. But the source breaks down the math.
And it's shocking. It's the difference between being rich and being truly wealthy. Let's run the scenarios. Scenario A, Serena wins Grand Slam number 24. What does she get?
The source says about $2 million in prize money. Maybe, what, another $5 to $10 million in endorsement bonuses from Nike and her other sponsors for hitting the record?
Right, so let's be generous and say it's $12 million. That is a ton of money. I'm not downplaying that, but it's transactional.
You perform, you get paid. It's labor.
Highly paid labor, but still labor. It gets taxed at the highest possible rate, and the second the tournament is over, you have to go do it all over again to get the next paycheck.
Okay, so now scenario B. The equity plays she was making in that same time frame.
We're talking early investments in companies like Impossible Foods, Coinbase, Masterclass.
The big ones.
The value of those equity stakes isn't millions, it's hundreds of millions. When Coinbase went public, the source speculates that her return on that one investment likely dwarfed all the prize money she could have won that entire year.
That's the light bulb moment right there. The tennis losses. From a purely financial perspective, they were a rounding error. They didn't matter compared to the gains she was making in her venture portfolio.
It's the absolute core difference between labor and ownership. Even for Serena Williams, playing tennis is trading your time and your body for money. Investing is owning assets that grow while you're sleeping.
Greatness expires. Ownership compounds.
That's the mantra of this whole story. If she stops playing tennis, the prize money instantly goes to zero. But the company she owns, they keep working, they keep growing. She realized the tennis court was a finite game. Business was an infinite one.
But there's another strategic layer to this that I found just brilliant. It wasn't just that she was doing business on the side. She was using the tennis to build the business.
Yes, the comeback is distribution strategy. It's genius. Think about it for a second. If Serena had retired in 2017 after Olympia was born, she'd be a legend, of course. But she would slowly fade from the daily news cycle.
Right, she'd become a heritage act. You'd see her in the commentary booth, maybe. People would talk about her in the past tense.
But by coming back, by making those finals, by even losing those finals in dramatic fashion, she kept herself on the front page of every sports section in the world for 2 straight years. She was the story.
She manufactured visibility.
Constant, massive visibility. And every single interview she gave, every magazine cover she was on, she wasn't just promoting Serena the tennis player.
She was marketing Serena the investor.
She was bringing attention and credibility to her portfolio companies. It created this flywheel effect.
A flywheel, exactly. Being a top-tier active player gave her access and relevance that she could funnel directly into Serena Ventures.
Think about it from a founder's perspective. The phrase, "I'm backed by Serena Williams," means a whole lot more when Serena's about to play in the U.S. Open final than when she's 5 years retired.
She turned her athletic career into a distribution channel for her VC fund. That is just, it's next-level strategic thinking. She wasn't losing tennis matches. She was generating marketing impressions for her real business.
It's the ultimate form of leverage. She used the asset that was expiring, her athletic prime, to fuel the asset that was compounding her ownership stakes. It completely flips the "she should have retired" narrative on its head.
Why would you retire when playing is the best marketing campaign money can't buy? And just to be clear, this isn't some celebrity vanity project, where they just slap their name on a fund. The source gives us some pretty hard numbers on Serena Ventures.
No, this is a serious top-performing fund. The portfolio has, 84 companies in it, and 16 of them are unicorns.
Okay, let's just clarify for anyone listening who isn't deep in the tech world. What's a unicorn?
A unicorn is a private startup company that's valued at over $1 billion. It's called that because it's supposed to be incredibly rare. For a single investment fund to have 16 of them.
That's not normal.
That's not normal. That puts you in the elite tier of venture capital. It proves she has a real eye for this, or at the very least, she built an incredible team that does.
So she's not just a figurehead. She's actually good at this.
She's very good at this. And what I think is even more telling is that 79% of the companies in her portfolio are founded by women or people of color.
That's amazing. So she's using the capital she earned by dominating a system to go out and reshape who gets funded in another system. It's putting your money where your mouth is on a massive scale.
And that really gets to the deeper philosophy of this whole shift. Why do it? Why not just be like Tom Brady and play until you're 45, chasing every last record?
Well, the source comes back to that hard truth that the pregnancy and the medical crisis taught her.
The body has an expiration date.
It does.
That's the brutal reality of pro sports. It's an extraction industry at its core. The whole system is designed to extract the maximum value from an athlete's body. The ticket sales, the TV ratings, the merchandise, until that body breaks. And then what happens?
It discards you and moves on to the next 20-year-old phenom.
It's brutal, but it's true. The system chews people up and spits them out. And so many athletes can't let go because their entire identity, their entire sense of self-worth is tied up in that performance.
They're optimizing for approval from a system that is designed to replace them?
Yes, that's it. Perfectly. They're seeking validation from the very machine that's going to throw them away. Serena stopped. She stopped optimizing for their approval and started optimizing for something else.
Freedom.
Freedom. That's the new metric. Because true wealth isn't just a number in a bank account. It's the ability to say no. It's having options.
The option to play if you feel like it, or the option to walk away if you don't. The option to spend a Tuesday morning with your daughter without having to ask a coach for permission.
And that's what she built for herself. A machine that doesn't require her to hit a 120-mile-per-hour serve every day to keep running. She realized that if your security is tied to your physical performance, you are fundamentally vulnerable.
Because time is undefeated.
Time is undefeated. Age gets everybody. Injury gets everybody. But if your security is tied to equity, to ownership, that's durable. That outlasts your knees.
Yeah, so let's jump to the end of this chapter. August 2022, the retirement announcement.
In Vogue magazine.
Which was such a power move. To announce your retirement from sports in a high-fashion magazine, not at some tearful press conference. She controlled the entire narrative.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
And she was so careful with her language. She didn't really say she was retiring. She said she was evolving.
Evolving. And the source uses this fantastic word to describe it. Unchained.
Unchained. I love that. It implies she was chained before.
Chained by the expectations. Chained by the record books. Chained by her own identity as the greatest.
She wasn't pushed out by an injury. She didn't fade away because she couldn't compete anymore. She walked away on her own terms because she had bigger things to build.
She traded dominance for freedom.
She traded trophies for equity.
And she traded a singular legacy as an athlete for a generational one as an owner.
And that's really the final summary. She wasn't the same player after her pregnancy. She was better. Not better at tennis. The results show she wasn't as dominant. But she was better at life. She figured out the real game.
That the real win isn't the trophy.
It's the freedom to walk away from the court entirely.
It's such a powerful reframing of what success actually is. We spend so much of our culture worshiping the grind, right? The Mamba mentality, the obsession, and Serena mastered that. But then she graduated from it.
She realized the obsession is a tool.
Okay.
It's not a destination.
Yeah.
You use it to get to a certain place, but if you stay in that place for too long, it just consumes you.
Which brings us, I think, to the big question for everyone listening. The source material ends with this really provocative challenge.
What are you still chasing that is keeping you chained?
Ooh, yeah, that hits hard. And it's not just about sports.
Not at all. It applies to all of us. You have to ask yourself, is it that promotion at work that requires you to work 70-hour weeks and miss your kid's soccer game?
Is it the business you built that will completely fall apart if you dare to take a one-week vacation?
Is it an identity you're clinging to, being the go-to person at work or the perfect parent that requires you to constantly perform for others?
It's asking us to really look at where we're trading our time, our health, our finite resources for something that expires, instead of building something that compounds.
Because the hard truth is, just like Serena, your body will eventually let you down. Your energy will fade. Your ability to grind will disappear. And when that day comes, you better hope you've built something that doesn't need you to be the greatest every single day just to survive.
You need to build your own equity, whatever that looks like for you.
That's the lesson. You can be the greatest. And then you can be something more. You can be free.
Greatness expires. Ownership compounds. I think that is the perfect place to leave it. A huge thank you to everyone for tuning in to this deep dive. This one has definitely given me a lot to think about.
Me too. It makes you want to check your own portfolio.
It really does. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you on the next one.